Hey guys, what's up? Quick video for you today. So today I thought we would do a little arts and craft project. I have a backpacking fly fishing trip coming up, maybe, and I was trying to figure out an ultralight way to carry my fly rod but still have it protected. So in the past, I've just kind of thrown it in the side of my pack and just cross the fingers and hope nothing happened to it. And so far I've been lucky, but yeah, I'm just not overly comfortable with that because they're expensive and I don't want it to break. So I went on YouTube and I found a lot of people making fly rod cases out of like PVC pipes and things like that, but nothing really ultralight, nothing really lighter than, not too much lighter anyway, than like the stock tube that your fly rod normally comes in. But then I went ahead and got smart and I tapped the world's greatest minds and I checked Reddit. And on Reddit, there was one or two posts there about people making fly rod tubes, ultralight tubes out of these things. So this is a light tube guard or something like that. It's like CFL tube guard or something. I bought this one at Lowe's. Home Depot did not have the size I needed. Plus, I mostly shop at Lowe's because I'm not a peasant. And yeah, went right in, and it was like $5-6-ish. And it comes in a 4-foot section. And what you need is the T12. So the T12 is the diameter here. Because if you buy one that's too small for your fly rod, it's not gonna work. I mean, think about it. So the fly rod I most often take when I get down to Florida and head up to the Smokies to backpack and fish the small creeks on the trails is the Redington Trout Classic. So this thing does come in 4 pieces, and I'm not sure how long is that, maybe 3 feet-ish, 3 feet-ish, 2 feet. Way shorter than the tube. So you have to cut this down. But before we get into all that, let's go over some of the supplies you're gonna need. So right out of the gate, obviously you need a tube. I already discussed this. You can order it from Home Depot. You can shop at Lowe's. My local hardware stores, Lowe's had it in stock. I was able to just go pick it up. Home Depot did not. So your stores may be different, but that was the case for me. And like I said, it's about $6. So it comes with these little plastic black caps on both ends. So it just kind of sits right in there like that. And they have a little hole, so we're gonna have to plug that as well, as you can see. So outside of the tube, make sure you have a fly rod. I don't think it really matters what length it breaks down to, because this is a 4-foot thing, but if you're backpacking, it probably breaks down into smaller sections. If you're not a real fisherman and you use Tenkara, this will probably work for that too, and you probably could buy one of those smaller tubes. So outside of that, for this project, first I have this foam pad. I think this was a backing on one of my Z-Packs backpacks, possibly the Nero. I thought about using a Gossamer Gear thin light pad because this is like a 1/4 inch, thin light pad's 1/8 of an inch, so it's a little bit smaller. But I didn't want to cut that one up, and I'm never ever going to use this, so I figured why not. And we're not even talking about ounces of difference in weight, we're talking about grams, so I'm not too concerned about that. But I am curious as to what this ends up weighing when it's all done, because I just started it to kind of get an idea of what we're going to do, and I have not finished it yet, so it's going to be pretty exciting. Next thing I use, you want to have a pen. When you get a pen, pencils don't really work on foam like this. Oh, by the way, if you do not have foam like this, I was thinking you could probably get some painter's tape, pull a bunch off, and roll it up, square it off, and go that route if you want. It's not going to be near as much cushion, but not everybody has random foam pads sitting around. I imagine there's probably also something in the hardware store you could find, but I already had this, so I didn't look, and that sounds like your problem. So, back to the pen. Make sure you test it that it will draw on your foam or whatever you end up using, because if it doesn't, then the pen's worthless and you should probably throw it away. Next, you're gonna want some scissors. I have these EMS shears because I do hero stuff sometimes. So this is kind of the point of having a pen. So I'll get to that in a little bit, but yeah, scissors. Now, some painter's tape, masking tape would also work. Whatever you got sitting around or whatever you want to go buy for a couple bucks. You probably have tape anyway. But yeah, so I had painter's tape because I'm doing some home renovations. This was just sitting there. So this is what I used. Next, you want to have some kind of cutting tool. I use my Swiss Army knife for this. You don't really want to use any kind of big Rambo style knife like a SE Junglist, BK7, anything like that. You want something with a smaller blade that's really sharp that you can get in and do fine cuts with. Tape measure. You probably don't have to use this, but I'm detail oriented. I want to be really precise because I like things to work. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's how I am. So I use a measuring tape, and again, I'll show you why in a little bit. And last but not least, you're going to have some kind of super glue. I prefer Gorilla Glue because it doesn't suck and it holds things, so that's what I use. Alright, now that we've gone through the supplies, I've got one cap done. You know, like I said, I wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing before I started talking to you guys. So let's get a tutorial on the other cap. Alright, first thing we're going to do, get our pen prepped, rub it on there. Now, as you can see, the caps are tapered, right? So what you want to do is you want to use the smaller end because the foam is going to go inside here. So you can't use the wider end because then it won't fit in the smaller end, right? We're good with shapes. We know what we're talking about here. Again, see how it tapers? So I'm going to put the smaller side down. And then I'm just going to trace around it to get a little template. Do it a few times just to make sure it's there. There we go. And we have a circle-ish. It's close. Close is good enough because we're going to trim it down from there anyway. Alright, now you're going to get your cool guy scissors out and we're going to start cutting it. Now, I don't know if you were like me in kindergarten eating too much paste instead of paying attention in arts and crafts, but I am terrible with scissors, which is also one of the reasons why I just didn't freehand this. And one of my cats is going crazy, but more or less just cut it out. Good news is it does not have to be perfect. It just has to be able to sit in there to provide a little bit of cushioning for when you're hiking and you're on that eighth mile of the trail that your buddy said was only going to be 6 miles and you're hating your life. So let's trim that up a little bit more. And so there's also, I didn't plan a way to keep the fly rod from clanking around in there, so it probably will be a little noisy, but I haven't even experimented with that yet, so we'll find out. So, all right, it's roundish, so let's see if it fits and goes to the bottom. We need to trim more. Look at that. So as you can see, it's not perfect, just like your marriage, but it is in there, so that's what counts. All right, next. So for inside the circle, I don't know if you could pick up on the camera, there's some little grooves in here. I'm just going to put a lot of this. I want it to soak up as much as possible and not come loose. Like I said, Gorilla Glue usually doesn't. I don't think I've ever had anything that I've Gorilla Glued come off. So, but yeah, generous amount. It's in there. And then pop that bad boy in, give them a couple pushes, and it'll probably dry in like a minute or two. Don't forget to put the cap on the glue. You paid $6 for this at Walmart. You want to make sure you can use it again. Alright, well that's drying. Let's go ahead and get this tube cut down to size. Remember, I already have one cap done, and that is in there. So I'm going to take a section of my fly rod, pop her down, boom. So, anyway, that gives us an idea of how long our tube needs to be. So, this thing is going, like I said, it sets in there. So, we probably want it just a little bit higher for a little more wiggle room. So, I'm going to go to about there. So, alright, so now, with the fly rod in, you know, like I said, that gives me an idea of how long it needs to be. So, we get that tape measure out, and let's see. So yeah, that Trot Classic section is 2 feet. So I'm gonna give it 2 more inches. So The fly rod looks like it's 24 and a half, 24 and 3/4. So I'm gonna go, I'm just gonna go 26 inches, and I think that'll be fine. Again, your fly rod might be a different size, so I would check that. All right, now that we know how long we want it and we have our tape measure in place, like I said, I'm going 26 inches for a 24-ish inch fly rod. So I'm going to take my little knife, and at the 26-inch mark, I'm just going to put a little score. Just right there. And then we're going to flip it over and do the same thing. All right, so flip it over, put the measuring tape back, and let's do the same thing at the 26-inch mark. All right, now that we've done that, we have these two little indents in the tube, two little cuts on each side at the same length. So that gives us more or less an idea of a straight line. I'm not good at eyeballing straight lines. Maybe you are, I'm not. But that gives me that, so I am ready for my next step. All right, so for the next step, I'm gonna get a generously long piece of this tape, and I'm going to start it at one of the cuts that I made. Try to get as straight as possible first shot, and then wrap it around. And you want your tape to be straight enough to where when you get to the other side, the edges match up. And that gives you a pretty straight line to work with. Now, pull your knife back out. Again, make sure your knife is sharp. If you do not know how to properly sharpen a knife, we probably can't be friends. So get to that. I'm sure there's tutorials on that too. Either way, now you have a straight line. You already have two cuts made. So you can just insert your super sharp knife, set it down, and you can cut along that line. I tried scissors at first. That was not cutting through this well, and that's why I went with the knife. Alright, so we got that done. It's pretty straight. It's like a little jagged. I wonder if I can clean it up a little bit. But overall, I don't think it really matters. I think this thing is going to hold anyway. I'm going to leave that. Another thing, I'm going to leave this bit of tape here, or maybe replace it with some waterproof like duct tape. So, because that's going to tell me which end is the removable end. I also want to figure out a way to attach like a pull loop for this, but I didn't get that far. That is tight that way. But there we go. So I guess the tape also helps keep it a little tight, but now it's on and we're in business. Last thing I'm gonna do is secure this cap to the tube. I put a little bit of Gorilla Glue around the edges, and we're gonna stick it in, and hopefully that will hold it. If not, I could put, what I've seen people do is a strip of duct tape over, maybe over that way too, and that'll definitely hold it as well. But I think it's gonna look cleaner with the Gorilla Glue. And I'm really not too excited about the painter's tape thing. I might switch out of duct tape. That might be a good place to, like I always have, one or two types of tape with me on trail. That might be a good spot to put that, but I don't know, because painter's tape is pretty useless outside of painting your hallway in your home. So, all right, so I think that's gonna about do it. That glue should be set. So let's put this bad boy in here. Let's see how bad it rattles. So got all that in there. So it fits. As you can see, I still have about 2 inches, so I feel like that's pretty good. And it's probably gonna make it rattle a little bit more, but that's all right. It'll keep the bears away. Nice snug fit there. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty good. Bear, hey bear, Yeah, cool. Now I just need to go on a trip. So the last thing I did is I added a few stickers so that people know I'm serious and not a poser. All right, so I did end up weighing it without the fly rod in it, of course, and it came into 1.85 ounces. So I think that's pretty good. It didn't go over 2 ounces, and I probably just wouldn't carry it. I'm kidding. But yeah, I'm happy with that. It's not the most indestructible thing ever, by no means. I mean, it flexes, it bends, all these things. It's just a little extra protection than just carrying my rod in the pack itself, or you know, in like a sleeve or something. So for $6, I think that's a pretty good project. It didn't take very long to do. You probably have most of the stuff sitting around your house, and now you have a YouTube tutorial on step-by-step on how to do it. So anyway, that's gonna do it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Who's a good puppies? Oh, I know, buddy.